Today we're going to do a quick start on the YSI Pro 20 series handheld. We're going to walk you through doing a battery install, installing the DO module, getting it ready, connecting the probe to the meter, and then doing a meter setup. And we've already installed the batteries. All we have to do is take the C's out of the package and put your cover back on, tighten the 4 screws, and then when you turn it over, when it powers up, you're going to be able to just hit the check boxes for language. The sensor type, you probably will either have polar graphic or the galvanic, and then you can hit the membrane type that you're using as well. And then once you do that, we'll continue on with installing the DO module. When you take the O-ring out of the box, there's going to be a little bit of O-ring grease already on, and we're just going to insert it into the probe, and then you're going to push it so the first O-ring is seated before we continue to turn the module up into the cable assembly, and just get a finger tight. You don't want to over tighten it, but you do want it to seat and have those O-rings to protect the cable. Once you have the sensor finger tightened, we can now prepare the cap and the solution and to complete the install. In your box, you're going to get the electrolyte powder, and what you're going to have to do is initialize it, adding distilled water up to the top here, and you're going to want to let that set a while before you add it to the cap. Already have some solution that's made up. Once you make up your solution, it's going to be good for about a year, so you might want to put a date on it so you don't use expired solution. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cap and you're just going to fill it just above the threads, and any excess will flow out when you install the cap, so you're not going to have any air bubbles in it. I rinsed the DO module with some distilled water, and we screwed on the cap, and the probe is ready to go. We'll put on probe guard, and in the calibration sleeve we're going to put the sponge, and we're going to add just enough water to keep that sponge moist. That's important for not only the storage but also for calibration. So we have the calibration sleeve on, and then as far as connecting the probe, there's a military connector here. We just lined it up and twisted it. And then as far as the meter setup, there's the on-off switch here, and I do have the backlight on to help us see a little bit better, and we can turn that back on. And one of the things that it's helpful to know when you're in the menu system, if you ever get lost, you just need to go down to the escape. And so I turned off local DO. As you can see, factory default is one touch cal. And I'm just going to walk you through how you can work through the menu system. Right here, we're going to verify our sensor type, so I'm going to hit the enter button, and like we ran through the menu system, it's at polar graphic black. So then we just want to keep hitting the down arrow until we see escape, and then we hit the enter button, and then it takes us to the next line, which is the membrane type. And if we hit the enter at that point, we're going to see that as we were doing the setup originally, that it's at yellow. So again, if you ever get lost, just keep hitting the down arrow until you see escape, and then when you hit enter, it takes you to the next line, and let's just run all the way through back down to escape, and then we'll be back into the menu system. And after you do your 10-15 minute warm-up, we're just going to do a cal. So we're going to just hit the calibration, and we're holding it down until it says calibrating DL. Calibration successful, and we are ready to use the meter.